A new survey admits something that I'm not really too surprised about, but a growing number of teens are addicted to social media, Abby.
Yes, and you know, that honestly doesn't surprise me that much. I mean, like we've been talking about earlier, everybody's on Facebook, Twitter, everything. But it can be very dangerous.
Right.
That's right. And joining us this morning is Dr. Woodruff to talk more about that. How are you this morning?
Fine, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Okay, so let's break down the study. First off, it says about 41% of teens that they surveyed were addicted to their mobile devices. How harmful of a trend is this, of a growing trend? Because we're talking about teens and they are our future leaders.
About 22% of teenagers that were surveyed report that they check their social media sites more than 10 times a day.
Wow.
And my concern is that while they're doing that, it may be interfering with other activities that they should be engaged in, like going to school, doing their homework, interacting face-to-face with people. So I think there are some risks to engaging in social media without some balance. You know, to engage in face-to-face interactions.
Exactly. I think that, and that's the thing that you think about the most. Growing up, I mean, so much of my childhood memories were running around in the little town that I grew up in and, you know, just meeting people, learning how to interact with other children. And that's a big thing. You're sitting in front of your computer. I mean, kids can kind of just, I mean, their friend is a computer screen in a roundabout way. And I think that's very dangerous.
Yeah. I was going to say, how does, you know, going off of what you're saying, Abby, how does that affect their communication skills? I mean, I think every single employer is looking for, I mean, no matter what kind of degree you have, you need to be a good or at least effective communicator. How does that affect that?
There's some benefits to the social media sites. There's some research that suggests that social media actually helps some teens learn to communicate better. Kids that tend to be shy and socially awkward can develop communication skills by their social networking. On the other hand, I think that it also can interfere with the ability to manage the intensity of face-to-face relationships. So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you suggest to parents as far as, you know, I mean, should they put limits on as to how long their kids can be on the computer to help combat that?
Start young. Kids, toddlers are using their parents' iPhones.
They know more
Start
than
young.
the parent.
Start
The
young.
parent is going to the child, like, can you help me out, you know?
If you teach kids sort of to be a good digital citizen, they understand sort of the rules of using social media, and are less likely to get into trouble with going to inappropriate sites and you know, sexting and cyberbullying, and you know, sort of the recognition that in the future, you know, their digital footprint follows them for life. So that any activity they've engaged in has the potential to impact their acceptance to college, their employment, and teenagers don't have a very good ability to connect consequences to their actions anyway.
Right.
And when they're on using social media, you know, there's distance and anonymity both, which really sort of intensifies that inability to connect actions with consequences. So there are some risks involved in that.
I feel like we're going to be a bunch of zombies in 20 years walking around with our cell phones just texting away.
Good old-fashioned talking like this.
You know, hopefully that we won't be in the minority. That's what I'm fearful of. But.
Well, there is also some evidence that kids are starting to burn out a little bit on social websites. And surveys suggest that some kids are starting to say, you know, they really wish they could disconnect. And maybe we're sort of starting to see the beginning of Facebook fatigue. So time will tell.
We'll see until something else new comes around, right?
Right.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you
so much for
You're welcome.
joining us this morning.
Appreciate it. We are wrapping up. We will be right back after this.